Welcome. You're listening to the University of Akron Marketing Podcast, sponsored by S3 Technologies.
Thank you, everybody, for joining me. If you don't know me, my name is Jonas. I'm a senior here at the U of A, studying marketing. And in my free time, I guess you could say I've been working on a little startup, creating a little app, a little social app. But here we call it Current, me and my team. I'll talk a little bit why we call it Current. Maybe you'll see why. But I have three main selling points that I want to share with you guys today. So let's get straight into it. So the first selling point I want to talk about is, short form content, right? So think about Current, right? We're going to have pictures, we're going to have videos, but when it comes to the videos, I want to keep them at a max of 10 seconds, right? But that just reflects how us consumers really consume content nowadays. And that helps for us to, keep our feeds moving fast. And to be quite frank, our attention spans are at an all-time low. So Current, we want to focus on what's currently popping, what's currently going on in today's world. And like I said, it'll help keep our feeds moving fast. When I talk about this topic, you can think about Vine, right? If a lot of people remember Vine, it was about 7 seconds per video, and it really was ahead of its time. But unfortunately, I don't think it evolved enough, right? I don't think there was too much interactiveness when it comes to it, and that's why I think it kind of fell off. And that leads me to my next point, right? The interactability of Current, right? Where we want to focus on, polls, hot takes, and a little bit of threads. But when it comes to threads, I also want to keep that at a limit at probably around 5 responses per, right? That avoids a long drawn out, like Twitter, right? A post on Twitter gets however many replies. And to be honest, nobody has time to read all that. I don't want to scroll through all that. So like I said, Current keeps us focused on what's currently, going on right now. As a consumer, you can see how, this interactability works for us and how it will look for us. But, to put ourselves in, a marketer's shoes, these polls, these hot takes for a marketer, you can use that as free advertisement, free feedback, and, like a free survey without having to pay too much for it, but posting it and whatnot. And then for my third selling point, this is probably my favorite one, the one that I want to emphasize the most is going to be, content's going to be tied to where you are locally, geographically. So whether you're in a neighborhood, a college campus, or just in a big city, right? This content's going to be tailored towards you. Not so much, like an algorithm like TikTok where it shows you posts based on what you like, but at Current, it's going to show you posts based on, where you are. So you can think of when you open up Current, you'll be looking at a map. It'll show you all these little hot spots, right, where people are posting. But that kind of keeps posts more relevant to, what's going on around you. And, for example, TikTok, pull up TikTok, you might have an influencer pop up on your feed from California talking about, a law or something California just passed. I'm in Ohio. I don't care about California really too much. So that just helps, have the posts have more relevance to me. And with this local approach, it serves as, kind of a community builder in a such way that, we can connect with those geographically around us. And then to go back to, putting ourselves in a marketing standpoint, right? For big advertisers, local shops, this helps, cut down on cost for ads, that precise local targeting, and it just helps you run ads more efficiently. For example, if you are Chipotle and you want to run an ad for the first week back of school, I can go in to Current and target all Chipotle surrounding the areas of, colleges or high schools and whatnot. And so that's really what I'm excited for when it comes to the local relevance aspect of this app. So I talked a lot, but to sum it all up, we're focused on what's currently going on around us, focusing on the short form content, the interactiveness, the polls, hot takes, but also keeping it at a limit because we don't want these overdrawn out, conversations going on. And then, just getting a good feel of what's going on around us. So, yeah, that's current. And I thank everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.